I'm Joy. I'm a creative strategist, college professor, and serial social entrepreneur. Ever since I was a little girl, my parents taught me to leave this planet a little bit better than how I found it, and that's what I work to do every single day. I've accomplished many things in my life that I'm pretty proud of. I live a life that I try really hard to make look beautiful on Instagram. But I don't really talk about the hard work, the failures, or the secrets behind some of my biggest accomplishments. So I figured why not introduce myself in the most uncomfortable way possible. In 2014, I won the World Summit Youth Award for my first sustainability project. I was flown on an all-expense-paid trip to Sao Paulo, Brazil. But I almost didn't show up to the award ceremony because the airline lost my luggage and I had nothing to wear, no money, and no time to go out and buy anything. Luckily, I made friends with the sweetest girl who let me borrow a dress. I remember her telling me it would be a shame to go home with a bag full of clothes and no memories. Let's just say I've packed a carry-on bag ever since. In 2017, I launched my first pop-up shop for the Green Store. I was excited for the opportunity to bring an idea that was in my head for so long into the real world. I decided to throw a big event to celebrate the opening on my birthday, but I was so plagued with anxiety and uncomfortable with the attention that I spent a good chunk of the night hiding in the basement. That's actually where I took this photo. But you wouldn't have guessed it from the other photos from that night. In my late 20s, I was one of 20 social entrepreneurs from around the world offered a fellowship at the Do School in Germany. We would be designing H&M's first green retail store. But only a few people know that I never made it. I was detained at the border in Frankfurt and locked up abroad for 3 days before being sent back home due to the fact that I overstayed my visa in Amsterdam years before. I have never been more terrified in my entire life. I was depressed for a long time afterwards, but I ended up applying for the program again the following year, and I was accepted again. But this time I made it, and it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. Speaking of Amsterdam, most people know that I lived at an artist collective for a few years in my early 20s with my best friends and had the best time. That's me sitting on the floor in the purple hat. But nobody knows how broke we were. Some nights we'd each have to chip in €1 or €2, whatever coins we found laying around or in our pockets, to go to the store to buy some noodles and pesto sauce to make dinner to share. To this day, it's actually still one of my favorite meals. Somehow, we always had wine though. I earned a certificate in designing for social innovation and leadership from the United Nations University of Peace in Southeast Asia. I traveled to Thailand and Cambodia. The trip was incredible and I learned a lot. But I was actually 4 days late because I was trapped in a Tokyo airport. My connecting flight kept getting canceled and I was too nervous to leave the airport because I didn't speak the language. Luckily, this airport had showers. I was invited to present the Green Store at the Global Youth Forum in Dubai, which was a trip of a lifetime. As the highly competitive overachiever I am, I stayed up all night working on my pitch presentation and was honestly pretty confident that I was going to win. My heart completely sunk when I learned that I came in second place. I still consider it to be my biggest failure, even though I came in first place in the category of environmental sustainability. But I still had the most incredible time in Dubai and discovered that there was interest in the Green Store all around the world. I was recently awarded a $20,000 grant from the United Way to pour into my business, but no one knows that I easily spent over 50 hours working on my application, researching, writing, designing assets, planning, and creating the pitch video. And getting the funding is just when the real work begins. They say when you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life, but that actually couldn't be further from the truth. Do what you love and you'll work harder than you've ever worked in your entire life.